What's going on, guys? My name is Tylearn, and today I am here not alone. I'm here with a very special guest. I've been wanting to collab with this guy ever since I literally saw the channel, the GOAT Stryfe the Warrior. Say what's up, man.
Hey, thanks for the intro, man. What's going on, everybody?
Yo, what's going on? And today we are going to be talking about Screen Rant's terrible list on specifically the Season 3 character arcs ranked in, I guess, a top 10. So, yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, and Screen Rant is very notorious for having some very polarizing opinions from fan base, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, you will never find like a video about Screen Rant that's positive. So this should be fun and entertaining. So let's just get right into it. Number 10, John Kreese. Okay. They say it might sound odd to say that Kreese had one of the best character arcs, seeing as he didn't really change much at all from the terribly cruel sensei he was in the original Karate Kid movies. No matter the passage of time, different situations, or people he came across, Kreese will always be Kreese. Now, they are talking about how they got the backstory, but he's still number 10. Now, with character arcs, or I guess characterization, I think we can like count those things very like similar. This thing in season 3, this backstory, right, that they are only saying that is number 10, made Kreese a way better villain than he should be. Like, Kreese was a fun antagonist, but he was a character that we really didn't have any justification for, or any like backstory really. So this honestly helped Kreese form himself into a way better character, and honestly probably one of the best villains currently in terms of fictional antagonists of all time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he definitely should be higher on the list just because he's a very focal point of the show. Like, he's in almost every episode, and you know, it's just like with all the flashbacks, they added much more depth to his character, because Karate Kid 3 kind of did that like briefly on the surface, but you know, it just wasn't enough because that kind of Terry Silver was in the spotlight. So, you know, it's almost like his villain rating just went up even more in this season, especially compared to season 2. And it was like really his time to shine. So, I mean, he definitely has like a good arc, but it's just hard to say that he's number 10 on this list.
Yeah, like Kreese Kreese is already kind of a perfect character in my opinion. I know I use the term perfect very loosely a lot of my videos, but he's honestly just someone I can't complain about. And season 3 literally elevated him. I don't know how they did it, but they did. And so him being number 10 seems kind of corny. So we can move on with number 9, Louis Lorusso. Now, they say not only did he discover that Robbie had stolen a car that helped the Larussos track runaway teen's location, but he also got useful information about the rival car dealership that helped Daniel get one step ahead of the rival he was hoping to shut him down. Now, this isn't an arc. These are actions that he just does for the sake of, you know, helping his cousin. I don't think that's a character arc. I think that's just him being a homie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. His character is very funny at times, especially more so in season 3 than season 1, but it's definitely more of an excuse just to kind of put him here on this list. And yes, his actions did help Daniel, but it's not like he was fully responsible for that. In fact, if it wasn't for Anoush, if Anoush would have never told Louis that, I mean, really, Louis wouldn't have not have been on this list either. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to really say about this. I love the character. He's funny at times, but it's almost kind of like they were just using an excuse to make this, you know, a 10 out of 10 item list.
Above Kreese, bro. Above Kreese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that should go without saying too, above Kreese.
Okay, so number 8 is Chosen. This is kind of interesting, and it's just basically the same reasons why I like Chosen, but they just put him at number 8. Personally, I really do like Chosen's arc. I really wish we saw more, man. I know it's Cobra Kai's like 10 episodes, and what they did with Chosen was already fire, but I just wish we could get like a kind of backstory, maybe like a 3 episodic series type thing, you know, like something Disney Plus type, and just get something, just seeing Chosen transform into this man, because it's honestly really satisfying to see him turn out this way.
Right, exactly. I mean, arguably he's almost the, like, if not the favorite, one of the most favorite characters from season 3 alone. And you know, I know the writers have talked about before in the past possibly doing spin-offs after, you know, the 6th season of Cobra Kai. I would love if they did a spin-off on Chosen, and you know, the fact that he's not higher on this list is really a crime, just because he had so much more depth. You know, Chosen in Karate Kid 2 literally represents like, what if Daniel went down the dark side of the Miyagi-Do path, you know, and trained from a young age. So yeah, the fact that he's like so low on this list, as much as 7 is my favorite number, is definitely a disservice to Chosen.
Okay, so number 7, we move on with Samantha Lorusso. Now, I think this is interesting because in my opinion, Sam's arc in season 3 was good, right? Like, it wasn't a bad arc. I don't think it was. I'm not one of those people who just overhate Sam for no reason, you know? Neither is Stryfe. But point is, I don't think Sam's arc, in my opinion, is better than Chosen's. I think Chosen, just seeing him turn out this way is a lot more satisfying than Sam, like, getting advice from Daniel, getting beat up, and just coming back. Which, I mean, it's not, I'm not trying to, you know, misrepresent or just try and disrespect Sam. I just don't think it's nearly as satisfying as seeing Chosen transform into this guy.
Right, exactly. You know, Chosen's definitely, like, you know, like you and I both said, it deserves to be higher on this list. Sam's arc is not bad at all. In fact, I see a lot of my comments, you know, anybody that does talk about Sam.
I think this was the best one.
Right.
I think this was the best one she got.
Yeah, she, you know, a lot of people loved her arc and made her more, you could identify with the character more. Me personally, it was hard for me to identify with Sam in season 1 and 2. I wouldn't say I hated her, but, you know, season 3 definitely made her made me understand her more. And that, you know, the fact that she was able to, like, disarm Tori at the end was also a really great finish. And it was a nice touch the way they handled that fight too, because it wasn't like suddenly Sam is completely better than Tori.
Yeah, it's still a scrap.
Right, exactly. Sam still had to face that fear, but it was enough to, like, get over that fear and, you know, disarm Tori at least. It wasn't something like completely crazy where, I mean, you could really say Karate Kid 3 that Daniel beat Mike Barnes because he didn't give in to fear, but it was like, it wasn't like a super, I think it was done a lot better in Sam's case.
It wasn't built up. I think for Sam's case, it was definitely better. Like, the Miyagi speech is cool and all, but it's just, it's not as good as something like the drum kick or the crane technique. It's just not that good.
Right.
Okay, so number 6 is Dimitri. Now, I do like Dimitri in season 3, but I wouldn't necessarily say he gets a character arc. I think it's more so him just feeling out his end of season 2 self, right? Season 2, that was his big arc, but now he's kind of chilling, and he is, you know, one of the reasons why Hawk does snap back into the light, which I do appreciate. But Dimitri's quote-unquote arc isn't really an arc in season 3.
Right, exactly. It's kind of almost the same thing with Louis, that, you know, he didn't really have much of a character arc. He was still kind of a supporting character. Now in season 2, he obviously was one of the more central characters of learning how to defend himself, you know, learning from Daniel and not, and facing Hawk when he has to. It is really cool though at the end of season 3 where he's definitely more assertive and whatnot. And I've kind of covered in my video, you know, with Dimitri and Hawk. You know, everybody, you know, growing up and going to the school that's a nerd like myself, they want to be Hawk, but really we're Dimitri. So, you know, he's definitely very realistic and whatnot. And, you know, kind of like you said, it's weird seeing him on this list. He's a good character, but he didn't really have much of an arc, like you said.
Yeah. Now, the next one is kind of interesting, and the reason why I say that is because of the reasoning. And they say that Amanda is on number 5 because originally she was one of the least liked characters in the first 2 seasons. And the reason why is because she was being sarcastic and getting angry at Daniel about his karate. And in season 3, she finally got on board and she smacked Kreese, so now she's better, which I do kind of want to address that. I do not think Amanda is a bad character in the first 2 seasons at all, and she is one of the reasons why Daniel even elevates as a character in the first place. Since Daniel doesn't have a Mr. Miyagi to go around, we actually have, you know, his companion trying to tell him from right and wrong. I don't think her getting mad about Daniel doing karate is something that should be a negative towards the character. It's realistic. This is to show how Daniel isn't a perfect man like Mr. Miyagi, and he isn't exactly like Miyagi, who can't maintain all this balance. I think it makes Daniel a lot more realistic and grounded, and, you know, I already covered this in my top 5. People who are like, oh, relationship problems. You know, this is like one of the main reasons why people think season 2 is bad. It's just kind of weird. And her just slapping Kreese, it's fine. I don't think it elevates her character, but I think it's kind of a satisfying scene. That's really all I have. Like, I don't think she's a bad character in the first 2 seasons. What do you think?
It's very hard to say that she's one of the least liked characters because I have a lot of people saying that they love Amanda and they were very excited that I talked about her. One people don't really realize is that with Mr. Miyagi gone, Amanda is one of the very few voices of reason, if not the major voice of reason in Daniel's life. She has some of her own Miyagi-isms that I've talked about, you know, especially in season 2, that you don't have to be so much like your mentor, Mr. Miyagi. You just have to learn how to be Mr. Lorusso. And also, you know, her talk to him about focus, saying that, you know, because you focus on one thing, you know, sometimes you lose focus of everything else that matters.
Exactly.
So, you know, she is definitely has And like I said, she's definitely the mother of Miyagi-Do wisdom. But it's hard for me to believe that she's a least liked character because
she's very likable. I think she's really likable.
Exactly. Courtney does such a great job of portraying Amanda, and you know they've kind of done the writers have done a really good job of always pairing Daniel with a strong woman. Or, like any kind of counterpart he's had was not a pushover. Ali wasn't a pushover. Kumiko wasn't a pushover. Even Jessica, you know, tried to fight Mike Barnes and fought Snake. So you know, Amanda continues to represent that, you know, strong female counterpart for Daniel, and like you said, very good, strong voice of reason. And
yeah, I think Amanda's also like really good for Daniel as well, because she kind of parallels to that of his younger self. You know, like she can keep her cool, but when she like goes off and is reckless, she definitely can be reckless. So I think she definitely has that Lorusso blood. I definitely don't think she's the least liked character on the list, or one of the most least liked. If anything, she's one of the more likable ones. Just kind of weird and odd. So number 4, Miguel Diaz. Now, Miguel, I mean, it's fine. It's kind of an easy number, honestly. I expect him to be higher since everyone kind of likes Miguel, but I think him at being number 4, I think he's my 4th favorite arc in the entire series, to be honest, or for season 3 specifically.
Yeah, this one I guess is about a fair number. You know, I'd also be okay with him maybe being number 3 as well. But the one thing that really like stuck out with Miguel's character is the moment where he turned sensei for a little bit, where he tells Johnny quiet until I get through to him that, you know, like, hey, you helped me out with so much, like you can help out other people too. So you know, and it's also very nice the way they treated his house fight with Kyler, that, you know, he was able to come back, you know, thankfully at the end, but it wasn't super overly cheesy like it was in the Karate Kid movies. So they did a really great job handling his character, and you know, he's definitely one of my favorites. Definitely the modern day hybrid of Johnny and Daniel, and I think I'm okay with this spot right here.
Okay, so the top 3. What do you think? What are your predictions for the top 3? Because I think it's going to be very predictable from here on out, and I think these next 3 are just going to be fine. We could just talk about these arcs in general.
It would definitely, from what we've seen so far, probably Johnny and Daniel are definitely going to be in those 2. I don't know who for the 3rd one though. I'm trying to think of. Oh, of course, yeah, Hawk. Yeah, so probably those 3 for sure.
Yeah, just those 3. Okay, for number 3, there you go, Daniel Lorusso. This is fine, honestly. He's my 3rd favorite arc in the entire season, so I agree with this. I like seeing him getting full closure with Miyagi's death, which is something that he never really got. Like, he accepted it, yeah, but he's never really, like, moved forward from it.
Right, exactly, and that's a very touching scene. It still kind of makes me cry every time I rewatch the scene. It's just such a good scene where, you know, it was very nice to finally see Daniel like own up to his mistakes and, you know, admit the wrongdoing. As I've covered in a previous video, a lot of people don't realize that he is definitely the Sato of this story. You know, finally making a redemption and coming back and, you know, helping with not only patching things up with Johnny, but of course patching up things with Chosen, even patching up things with Ali, and, you know, giving both of them some kind of closure, you know, from what happened back in the past.
I think this season was just a really good way to kind of make fans who hated Daniel in season 1 through 2 kind of like him, because he just gets closure with everything, and everything that kind of had holes in his character is kind of closed. So now all we need really is just for him to elevate against Terry Silver, which I definitely think is going to happen in season 4.
Yeah, I can't wait for that myself.
Alright, so number 2 is Hawk. This is fine. Hawk's arc has been built up since season 1, so I honestly like it. His spiral down is really satisfying or hard to watch, but him returning to the light is satisfying, and I do like it.
Yeah, this, I mean, he's definitely got to be at least number 1 or number 2. I'm okay with this spot as well. I think it's just also the main thing is, you know, that you see confliction like almost every episode, something that happens, where it was him kicking out Bert and kicking out Mitch, and of course breaking Dimitri's arm, and then the final straw is basically Robbie joining Cobra Kai. Yeah,
and taking all the glory from the plan that Hawk specifically orchestrated.
Right, exactly. And the other thing too is just like, you know, it's so satisfying when he finally saves Dimitri, and, you know, they finally you know, patch things up. Of course, what everybody else has said, and I'm going to say it here too, I think there's still going to be some things he has to answer for in season 4. For example, I don't think the, you know, trashing Miyagi-Do and the Miyagi medal, that has to get brought up at some point. It's just going to really test Daniel's ability to forgive and forget.
Yeah, and I also can see him patching things up with Sam, which is kind of a mini rivalry that's been going on since like season 2 of the mall fight, which would be pretty interesting to see. Also, I can't wait to see his interactions with Tori, who promised to watch it back. Okay, so number 1, obviously Johnny Lawrence is number 1. He is my favorite character. I think he's the best in season 3. I think he's the best character, period, in Cobra Kai. What do you think?
Yeah, Johnny has definitely got a great character. You know, like I said, the way he was written, the way that they've treated the series in general is that sometimes history does repeat himself. Johnny is definitely the modern day Mr. Miyagi, and it's just like one of those guys that you not only want to root for, but you empathize with what he's been through in his life, whether it's being abused by his stepfather, and of course, you know, the death of his mother and everything else that's going on, and him becoming a Mr. Miyagi to Miguel. You know, his arc was definitely very interesting to see, especially like, you know, season 1 being very shaky. And of course, you know, him working together with Daniel in those 2 different instances was just so satisfying to see, and something that they've kind of always teased, you know, in season 1 and season 2, and both really, both seasons, episode 9 specifically. So it's going to be very interesting. I hope that they can still work things together against the All Valley, because if they fall apart now, it's going to be an easy win for Kreese.
Yeah, I think it would be really lame, and I really do want to see these 2 genuinely trying to work together. And that is the end of the list. Okay, so this is probably where we're going to be concluding the video, and before we even get into the conclusion, before I say any of that, you guys gotta subscribe to Stryfe. Seriously underrated, incredibly underrated. It's dumb, honestly, so you better subscribe to him.
Hey man, I appreciate the shout out. And for those of you guys that are already here on Tylearn, or if you happen to have this link from my community, definitely check out Tylearn as well. He does some really good alternate reality of timelines of different events in Cobra Kai, especially with my personal favorite is What If Johnny Joined Miyagi-Do right after Karate Kid 1. So definitely check him out as well.
Oh, we bringing up personal favorites? Alright, go check out his hog video. You guys better check that out. Alright, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe if you're new, hit the bell icon, like the video, share it with your friends, share it with your grandma, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.